So I'm going to show you something really a little bit different to what we normally do in Canvas Workspace. So if we go into our screen here, now when you send something into Canvas Workspace, when Canvas is open, you need to refresh here to get the file that you've saved. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to do this a little bit differently to normal. So I've got my square and it's grouped together because we sent it in grouped. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up to edit, and I'm going to ungroup it. Okay, so I've now got the square and I've also got all the pattern pieces. Okay, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently to the way we did it before, because then it's teaching you something new. So I know that I want 3 layers for this, and because the layers are quite fine already, they're quite delicate because they're geometric prints, I'm going to create inward offset lines, but not outward offset lines. So what does that mean? It means that this image that you can see on the screen now is going to be at the top, and we're going to create one that's going to go behind it. And then we're going to see if we can create another one without the pattern completely disappearing. And you'll see what I mean when I start to do this. So I want 3 layers in total. Some of them will only do 2. Some of them will do 3. So you test it and you find out which do which. So the first thing I need is 3 of these squares, because when I layer them all up at the end, I want the outside edge to be exactly the same. So I go to edit and I click duplicate twice. So I've got one there and I've got one here. And I'm going to do exactly the same with this pattern. So I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to duplicate that, so I've got 3. And I'm going to move one over here and another one over here, and then I'm going to keep one in place. So because we're just going to use this as a full block pattern, we're not going to weld anything to it, and we're not going to do any of that. We don't need to divide it at this stage. So I'm just going to drag a box around those 2, go to edit and align them centrally vertically, and back to edit and align them centrally horizontally. And then I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to group that together. So that is going to be the top layer of my design. Now, if you go into properties and you go down to color here and you click on this first little arrow that goes down, you can set it to a color. So let's make that one a pale lilac. Okay. And then when I do that, it's made that. Oh, right. So this is the thing. Okay, just learned something new because I haven't used the colour before, so this is new to me. So I'm going to undo that and take that colour out. So let's wait for it to undo because it does take it a little minute or 2. What it's done is it's coloured the whole layer. So if I wait for it to undo and I do divide it, divide it, that's not easy to say, then we can do it differently. So let's see if it's going to. Yeah, it's just having a little moment on me. See, it tells me I've got to wait because it's not responding quite yet. There we go. Right, so I've got this. Now I'm going to divide it and show you the difference because I've just discovered this colour in the last 10 minutes. I know I've always known it's been there, but I'm trying to find a way of showing you an easier way of seeing what I'm doing. So I'm going to get rid of all that waste. And now I'm going to colour fill it. And I'm going to colour fill it so that when I lay them all up at the end, you can see what I'm doing, what it looks like. So I'm going to do pale lilac. There we go. That's better. So now I've got my file. So that's going to be the top pattern. So what I want to do now is bring in this pattern and I want to create an inward offset line. Okay, so I'm going to go to edit and I want to create a 1mm inward offset line and delete the original. Okay, so I'm going to press OK, and now I've got this pattern. So I'm going to group all that together, go to edit and group, and then I'm going to bring one of my duplicated squares and I'm going to put it around the edge. So I'm going to drag across there, go back up to edit, do a line to the center and a line to the middle, and then go to edit and divide it. Okay, so now I can move that over there. I can get rid, now this could be a stencil, so this would cut into your cardstock. You can do that with the waste with all of this, so you could create layering stencils and use different colours of paint or ink. That's quite a nice thing to do. And while I've got this one selected, I'll go back to colour and we'll choose the next colour up. Okay, so now I've got my top layer and I've now got my middle layer. So now I'm going to create the back layer. So this time I'm going to bring on the pattern. I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to create a 2mm inward offset line and delete the original. And then I'm going to drag all that. I'm going to go to edit and group. I'm going to bring this square in. I'm going to drag a box around both of those, go to edit and align centrally vertically, and edit and align horizontally, and edit and divide. I'm just going to move this over here out of the way, bear with. This is the bit I'm not very good at, grabbing things. It's like those grabbers in the arcades. Shocking at that. Absolutely shocking. Don't think I've ever won anything in my life. It would have been cheaper to buy the soft toy than try and grab it. So for this one, I'm then going to go into here and set this with the dark purple. So we'll go in with a nice deep dark purple. Okay, so we've now got 3 layers. Now this is, the colour is just so that you can see what I'm doing. It's got nothing to do with how it's going to cut. Okay, I'm just doing this so that you can see the difference. So if I move this one, this one is my back one. So I'm going to move this one behind it, and then I'm going to go to edit and order and bring it to the front like that. And then I'm going to bring this one in and I'm going to go to edit and order and send it this one to the front. So it's a nice way of you seeing what it would look like before you actually cut it out. So if you wanted to do it in purples, it's a nice way of you visually seeing it. So I now drag a box around all of it, go to edit and align it centrally vertically, edit and centrally horizontally, and then I'm going to group it together just so that I can zoom in and you can then see that you've got your 3 layers. So you've got your lilac one, you've got the 1mm offset, which is like that pinky colour, and then the darker purple is your 2mm offset line, and it all lines up perfectly to match with the pattern. I think that is super, super, super cool. So then you can just, I'm going to zoom out first of all, and then I can actually see my screen like that. So I'm going to go to edit and ungroup it. Edit and ungroup, there we go. And then I've got my 3 layers. So you can download all 3 of those now and cut them out, and they will all line up perfectly on top of each other. And that, I think, is a really cool thing. So it's a different way than we did it previously. Because of the fineness of the lines in a lot of the patterns, but also a different way of showing you how you can create your layers rather than doing it the original way. So there's always options. And I find that if something that I do makes sense in some people's heads, and another way of doing it makes sense in others. So if we bring you both, we've got a good spread across. Okay, so that's that bit. So go and have a play with that, and then come back and I'm going to show you how you weld one of the card shapes to the centre of the pattern, and also how you create a frame. So I'll see you in a bit. If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.